This is Wright Brennan, and today we are lost in the Midlands with my friend Lori Wicker. We are at the Celebrate Freedom Foundation headquarters. Thanks so much for having us. Lori is the director of STEM education and JROTC programs here. She's also a personal friend and a networking titan. So it's a pleasure to have you on, and thanks again.
Thank you.
But yeah, so Lori, I wanted to discuss a little bit about your background. How you came to be here today at Celebrate Freedom. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your ties to the Midlands and the area?
Well, I'm Lori Wicker, and I have been around Lexington all my life. My father was in Korea, and he was shot and paralyzed before his a week before his 17th birthday. And he came and said, I want to settle here in Columbia near Fort Jackson. And I was born at Fort Jackson.
Wow.
And my sister was actually one of the first child born in Moncrief Hospital.
That's awesome.
So, yep, we are known. My parents were married in the little chapel at Fort Jackson. And so they decided to settle down here in Lexington after he retired and everything. And I'm a Wildcat from Lexington High School. And I was married for 20 years, moved to Newberry, and then came back here and have two beautiful daughters. They're both in college. And let's see, I started out working as a work-study program with the Veterans Affairs Office in Lexington when I was in high school. And once I graduated high school, I went and started working at Bell South in Pitney Bowes. Then moved to South Carolina Electric and Gas and was there for 16 years. And so I got into the engineering area, but I was customer service for small businesses. And due to health issues, I am a two-time cancer survivor. So I took an early retirement from SC&G, and my family here found me. And when I say my family, this is what we are. Some call us units, some calls us troops, some calls us crazy people. Myself, I've never served in the military, but I'm always a military brat. Because of my dad's ties and everything, this is my way of giving back to them. So after recovering from breast cancer, they're like, you are a fighter, you are going to continue, you're not going to die, you're going to work and you're going to get better. And I was like, well, I don't know what to do. They're like, we'll find something for you. I started at home doing data work, just working there, getting stronger. Then started going to the STEM education school visits. And what Celebrate Freedom Foundation does, we have volunteers who will come and repair and fix up helicopters, planes, vehicles, and then myself and other veterans will go to schools and talk to kids about STEM education. And what STEM education is science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Everything that they learn in school is somewhere on these aircrafts, on these vehicles. And that also gives the opportunity to our veterans to give back to our youth because they have so much knowledge. I know I went on and I'm sorry.
You're good.
I didn't.
Honestly, we've known each other for a while. I didn't know that some of those pieces of your story. It's it's amazing what you do here and what you've been through. So the rest of us really appreciate you just doing an awesome job with Celebrate Freedom.
Yeah.
You work with a lot of different type of people, which I find is super amazing. You work with veterans, you work with students, you work with business owners. You know, what is it like just being in a community of such a diverse crowd?
It is, everybody has something to give. Everybody has that little niche that they just want to find somewhere to go to. For Celebrate Freedom, it's not just Army, it's not just Navy, it's every branch of service that has come out here. We have volunteers, Coast Guard, we have Marines, I have a 70-year-old Marine who will come out here once a week and sew for me on a vintage sewing machine. But
awesome.
They work their medical around to work with this. But then I also have those who want to give back just like I do, who's never served, whose parents have served. And for one reason or another, they couldn't serve. But now they're here, and they're working right beside each other. We also do our JRTC. Our program there is actually a nationwide program for JRTC students. They have to meet certain guidelines, but when they meet those guidelines, their instructor has to fill out an application, send it in to us, and they would actually get a ribbon that has been approved by the military to wear, because it's the Celebrate Freedom Foundation thing, Celebrate Freedom Foundation Award, excuse me. And I've got people from all over the country, and even Guam has sent some into us as well. But
so y'all are recognizing JROTC students pretty much across borders and Guam, and that's
Germany, even some of the bases where their kids are there, they still have to meet the guidelines. They meet the guidelines, and so last year we gave out over 300 awards to JRTC. I am already up to 320 this year, even though school has already been, because of the coronavirus.
Right.
We had continued to get awards because of all these JRT outstanding events, volunteering that they have been doing to even make it even better for them. I'm also part of the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts.
Very cool.
The Boy Scouts, to get their badges, aviation badges, a lot of them will do it online, but they can come and volunteer with us with their volunteer hours. Then they also will get their patch, but they've worked on an actual helicopter.
Military helicopters.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
We do homeschooling, volunteers and stuff like that too, where that will actually contribute.
Let me ask you this: the summer camp that you guys hold out here, is that where the Boy Scouts come out and do work, or do y'all just let any
Well, 2 summers ago, because we had to cancel this year's, but 2 summers ago we had what we call the Workforce Development Group. That was 12 students that actually had to apply. They were high school students that just graduated high school, and they got hands-on, learned how to work on these, learned what happens if the chemical reacts to another chemical, to learn how to bondo, learn how to fix things. The next time you go down to Patriots Point in Charleston, the helicopter, the Sea Cobra that's down there right before you go into the Vietnam area, that was done by our high schoolers.
No kidding.
We brought it down here. They worked on it during the summer, and I am so proud of these 12 kids. And because they sanded, they bondoed, they worked it. They worked right along the side with our veterans, and that was their mentor.
Yeah.
And it gave them accomplishment. They're like, okay, we can do something. We also gave them skills, life skills.
Yeah.
We gave them something to step up, because I feel that a lot of these kids nowadays in high school thinks, well, if I don't go to college, I'm not worth anything. No, that is so not true. You know, we need trade schools.
Yep.
We need these kids to learn how to mix and paint, and to stock, to plumbing, you know, plumbers and stuff like that, to paints, to, you know, it's such a need now.
For sure.
Not every kid is ever going to go to a four-year college.
Right.
But if there is a hope in your heart, if there's something that you're good at, like if you like to draw, there's a job for that. To put gas, to get jet fuel into one of these helicopters, that's a $50,000 job. To put fuel.
That's a good job, $50,000.
$50,000 a year. But you know what you have to do? You have to go to a trade school. You've got to learn. Don't put kerosene in there. You need to know about the internal bladder of a helicopter. You need to know what's what. So if you're good at that, it's a job. If you want to paint, that's a job. Boeing hires people in Charleston to actually paint aircrafts.
And they can learn the skills here.
Yes.
So you guys are not only teaching leadership and teamwork, but they're getting skills that transfer into the workforce.
And,
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And out of our 12 high schoolers that was this summer, we had 4 of them who wanted to go to college. They was like, well, we can't afford it because they were low income. Well, you know what? We found a way.
Yeah.
We found grants. We found scholarships. You know, we called them because, heck, one of them was a parent was single.
Right.
You know, the divorcee parent. Well, that's a scholarship.
Yeah.
You know, you have brown eyes. That's a scholarship. But if you don't know where to look, you don't know. So we had a lot of our local businesses around that would come and talk with the kids. You know, we had financial advisors would come in. The bankers would come in and just talk with them about setting up banking accounts, because some of them never even had a bank account, never figured they could. They would go cash it at the local store.
These kids are definitely getting some, you know, quality instruction and mentorship. So, you know, honestly, it's no surprise to hear that you're able to put all these pieces and parts together.
Yeah.
This is what you do so well at, you know.
But it's because of our local community. Once again, they need a skill. They have it.
Yeah.
But now y'all are giving to us just as much as we're giving to them, because now we're actually creating skilled employees for y'all. You know, and some of the other summer camps is we had a kid who was 15 years old who got his pilot's license before he even got his driver's license. And I know that sounded really, you know, crazy, but
it sounds a little crazy.
Do you know, I mean, the story there was his parents were going through a divorce, and his mama wanted him to get out of the house, you know, for the summertime, because it was a messy divorce. He didn't want anything to do with celebrate. He never wanted to learn how to fly, never wanted to do any of that stuff. But he found a purpose. He came through and said, wow, this is what I want to do. He now, fast forward, he is a pilot. And that was the structure that he needed. Yes, it was a summer camp.
But the roots started here.
But the roots started, and he is now up in Greenville talking. You know, he is a pilot. He's a private pilot who flies around corporate people. And
well, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, I keep going on. You're gonna make me go on and on and on. I'm sorry.
There's so much cool stuff that happens here. You know, I want to try to get as much of that information out to the people. I want to switch gears a little bit and maybe talk a little bit about the veterans that come in and do some work. You were just showing me all of the patches on this super awesome helicopter.
Huey.
So it sounded to me like y'all have a lot of different branches of military that come in here and volunteer.
We do. We have volunteers from every branch of service, even Coast Guard. I consider, you know, they always have that little thing saying, is Coast Guard really? Yes, they are. They are part of my branch of service. I have Army. I have Air Force. I have Marine volunteers. I have Special Forces.
Oh, wow.
I have active military who still come out and fly because, like I told you earlier, there's 12 countries that still uses our Cobras. In the United States, it's the Marines and it's the Force Commission.
Yeah.
The Force Commission uses them for search and rescue. The Marines use them for battle-wise. But we do training missions with Fort Bragg, because our allies overseas uses them. So that way they know how to maneuver together and to come together. So we do training with them. But we can get a shot later of them, but every patch on there, and we have named her Kathy, after one of our late members, and she was a beautiful, wonderful soul, and anybody who has ever met her would call her mom. And since she passed away, we named her after her in her honor. And she will actually be flying again real soon. And inside her soundproofing, we have put every volunteer's patch or member who has done something with us. If they have given our patch to us, we have put it in there. Some have passed away. Some are still here. Some are very active.
Yeah.
And that gives, so when she's flying again, their patches are flying. So their honors, that we're honoring them and their memories.
Yeah.
And that will be just, because we're going to be taking her to shows, air shows and stuff like that. We have an air show coming up in April of next year.
Okay.
And we're hoping to have her so that way everybody can see her doing.
So the students and the veterans come in, they help restore these awesome helicopters,
yes.
battle helicopters.
Yes.
And then it sounds like you'll fly them into schools.
We do.